Hello friends, I come with another review of the series A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison. The first book is called A Pinch of Magic, and the second book is A Sprinkle of Sorcery. I've read the first two books. I'm currently reading the third book. I'm not gonna review the third or the fourth book because there are four books in this series. Just a pinch of magic and a sprinkle of sorcery. Now it's the level, the age level is middle grade, but it has such sometimes dark elements that I think grown-ups can enjoy too. But the dark moments, the dark aspects of the story, the even some sad things that happen during the story, it's not so much, and it's kind of washed away by the cute behavior and the cute personality of other characters, of the younger characters. The story is about three sisters, Fliss, Betty, and Charlie. They live on this gloomy, sad island called the Crowstone. And the Crowstones, actually it has another three island, the island of Lament, of and two other islands that I don't remember the names. These all of them, they are so gloomy. In one part they're only prisoners. The one part they are the people that one island belongs to the people who are like banished from the society and they cannot come back. It's all so gloomy, so gloomy. At the beginning, the beginning of Pinch of Magic actually started a little sad because the sisters, especially Betty, really wants to leave this place. And wants an adventure. Her favorite thing is map. God, I really, I loved all of these characters. The first sister, Fliss. She's this sweet, young, kind of older sister that just so gentle and tends to herself a lot, wants to be beautiful, wants to smell good all the time, and flirt with the guys and things like that. She's a young adult and wants romance and things like that. Second sister, the middle sister, Betty, she's adventurous. She has this wild soul. I so just sympathized with her, and she's stuck in this island. It was so horrible. But the resolution was so great. The writer is a magician. She's a witch. Michelle Harrison. I love her. And the third sister, oh my god, Charlie is just a cupcake. I could eat her up. She's so cute, always, bringing home lost animals, hurt animals, like a cat with one eye only, or a mouse with two legs, things like that. She's such a kid. I love her so much. Charlie is one of the best creatures in the world. And Betty's adventurous. Okay, enough about the characters. Now let's talk about the story. Oh, and they live with this granny who I imagine, like, I don't know if you watched anything from the Ghibli animes, like Miyazaki animes, like the house moving castle or things like that. I always imagine this granny like a granny from those animes, Japanese animes, like fat with a big nose and wrinkly and old, but kind and sweet, and sometimes drinking a lot. But she's so superstitious. I always thinks that, okay, if you see one crow in front of our home, it's bad luck. If you see two crows, something's gonna happen. If you see three crows, you're going on a journey. If you see four crows, things like that. She's superstitious. Like she has to have her horseshoe by her side all the time. Things like that. The first book, The Pinch of Magic, is the story of actually the main character is Betty, and Betty wants to leave the middle sister, who wants to leave, really truly wants to leave this gloomy, boring islands, wants to go on an adventure, wants to go search for other places, beautiful places, wants to see the world. But she finds out at the beginning of the story that they cannot go. Their family, the Withershins, by some ancient curse, they cannot leave this island. And if only the women, and if they leave, they will live only for 24 hours, like one day. By the sunset of the second day, they're gonna have a heart attack and they're gonna die. That's a curse. It's a horrible curse. Sorry. And Betty really wants to go, and she doesn't believe this curse. But the beginning of the story, she doesn't know still, when she doesn't know about this curse. And always the granny says that you shouldn't leave the islands, you mustn't go, you mustn't leave. And they're really suffocated, so Betty decides to leave. So they leave, but before they go past the island and they go out of the boundaries of that city called the Crowstone, the island is called Crowstone. Before they leave, Granny comes saving them and drags them back home. She's angry. She says, "Why did you leave the island?" And they're all like, "Why shouldn't we leave? We want to leave. We are grown-ups. We are 12. We are 13. We are grown-ups now. We want to leave." And the granny tells them that, okay, our family has a curse. Cannot leave, blah, blah. But at that moment, she gives them 3 gifts, each to one sister. A traveling bag to the middle sister. A mirror to the eldest, to Fliss, and some dolls, nesting dolls, like Russian dolls. That there's one big doll, then another, and there are 3 dolls. Gives them to gives the dolls to the middle sister, to Betty, and gives the traveling bag to Charlie, the youngest, and the mirror to Fliss, to the eldest. But they cannot leave Crowstone, so the bag has no use. And I forgot to say that these gifts are actually magical. And the only magic items, magic system, or some things that we see in this book, actually there are the first book. There is 3 objects that Granny gives them, and says that, okay, women in our family, the Withershins, have generation by generation passed along these toys, these gifts, these objects. So you can use them, but if you go out of the island, if you go out of the boundaries of Crowstone, you're gonna die, so don't go. The mirror, which is given to Fliss, the magic it does is that you can, if you look through the mirror, by your own volition, by your own wanting, you can see other places. Like, for example, if I look through the mirror here, I can see in the street, or in the park, or in a city, or anywhere, any place. So that's Betty's gift. Phyllis's gift, and Betty's gift, which are the nesting dolls. If you put a personal thing, like a strand of hair or any other piece of clothing, anything inside these dolls, you can disappear. No one will see this. Invisibility kind of dolls. So that's for Betty. And the youngest, Charlie, gets the traveling bag. And what's the traveling bag? I always imagined it like a big ugly bag which is made of carpet, and if you go inside it, you can travel. You can transport to another place, anywhere you want. But if you go outside of Crowstone, you will only live for 1 day and you're gonna die. I keep repeating this curse, oh my god. So the first book is about breaking this curse. Betty doesn't give up. I love this about her, that she just wants to solve the problem. Everyone, all the generations, there have been like girls who wanted to leave but they couldn't, so they searched for Ray to go and break the curse, but they couldn't. And Granny tells them that, but Betty doesn't listen, and she tries to break the curse. Actually, Charlie's always just playing and thinking about what to eat. Phyllis is thinking about boys, but they have their own hobbies. But Betty's just this adventurous soul that doesn't want to give up and settle down in an island that she hates. Things happen. I'm not gonna spoil anything because the whole book is a climax. The writing style is wonderful. Oh my god, there are no cons to this book. Nothing bad about it. Nothing boring. It's so good, so great. The whole thing is just like a piece of cake that I want to just devour. So they understand it by research and going to be asking the people who say they know how to break the curse. They try and they make a mess in every step of the way. They go to prison. They let a fugitive escape, a murderer, probably a horrible person, and sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's sad, sometimes I want to lose hope. I want to just give up. But Betty doesn't. That's so good. So she goes on and on and on till she finally, I'm not gonna tell you what happens next. Okay. So that's the first book, but it was so good, so satisfying, so wonderfully built that I just couldn't put it down. It was so hard for me because I don't have the actual book. I cannot show you here, but I read an EPUB version of it. But I loved it so much. It doesn't matter in which format it was good. Yeah, I said that from beginning to the last page was a climax, and the resolution, all the conflicts they have with different things are all awesome. That was the first book, The Pinch of Magic. The second book, A Sprinkle of Sorcery, is they are still living at Crowstone, but okay, if you think it will spoil things, don't listen to the second book because the curse is broken. Yeah, yay! But now, through some mistake, the youngest sister gets abducted and Granny's like locked up somewhere, so she cannot help. So the sisters Fliss and Betty go to Charlie's rescue. They want to find her and save her. Oh my god, the thought of Charlie, this little soul that loves to eat cakes and snacks all day long. She was abducted. I was so sad for her. I was so worried, but yeah, things happen, and Charlie's great character. She's just strong. She's just badass. I love her so much. And so the second book is about saving Charlie from some people. They meet pirates, they meet witches, they go to mysterious islands. There are maps that you cannot see a part of with bare eye, and you have to look through a kind of a stone to see some parts. So if you like those kinds of magical elements, you have to read this book. And it has, both books that I read had these snippets of folk tale of old stories that their granny used to tell them about witches and what happened to them. So the second book actually is a little bit happier, I can say. The first book a little bit gloomier, if I may, but both books just wonderful. If this first book was not good enough, I wouldn't have picked it up. I wouldn't have picked the second book and now the third book. I'm in the beginning of the third book, and it's just so good. I recommend all people who love middle grade like me. Actually, all my young adult reviews are like pros and cons and like that, blah blah, but middle grade is just, yeah, that's the book I want to read. So yeah, if you like middle grade, if you don't mind young characters, read this book for sure, because it's great. Some similar books are like Grisham Grange by Anthony Horowitz, Malamander by Thomas Taylor, Crowfield Curse by Pat Walsh, Magic Misfits by Neil Patrick Harris. These are some of the other middle grade books that really just are the same league, and they are also wonderful. I recommend if you read this and like those. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the sequel. I want to read the fourth. If Harrison writes like 10 books in this series, I'm gonna read all the 10. So that was an full of excitement review by me. But now, it was coffee too. Yeah.